Hi, welcome everybody to Relax with Animal Facts. I'm Steph Wolf and I'm here to learn some facts with you about our furry, scaly, or slimy friends all over the globe. At the same time, relaxing and sometimes going a little bit off topic. You're gonna hear me maybe stumble and mumble, say things like that. But it's all in the spirit of learning here with you guys and also giving you something to listen to while you relax or whatnot. So there's a few different ways for you to listen to the show. So you can just kind of put on the podcast. You can, while you space in and out, just lay down or maybe sit on a comfortable chair somewhere. Maybe you're outside, maybe you're inside, and you can just kind of focus on my voice and relax while maybe learning something. Maybe you just want to put on the podcast before bed, and you just have something to focus on as you kind of drift off. So it's all entirely up to you. I'm just here to keep you company for 30 to 35 minutes, and maybe you can even learn something. So today we are going to be learning about the giant panda. Okay, so this is to my knowledge, kind of a fan favorite. I know how many people like pandas because they're so exotic and different and cute. I'm sure that they dominate a lot of the YouTube animal world because they're so they're very special, very unique animals. So I'm definitely excited to kind of learn something here with you guys. So the majority of my information here is going to be coming from 3 websites this time, from livescience.com, from worldwildlife.org, and from chinahighlights.com. So if you maybe want to learn more, maybe they have different animals on there. I know for sure worldwildlife.org does and Live Science does, and I'm sure China Highlights does too. That's where I'm getting the majority of my facts from. So if you want to learn more about these animals, or maybe some other ones, you can always go and check those websites out. And if maybe one of the animals that we'll cover you become super interested in and want to learn more about, there's plenty of documentaries on Netflix and on other kind of streaming services and maybe even TV shows where you can learn more about them. So I very much encourage you to learn more if you enjoy maybe a certain animal, or maybe all animals. Maybe you love all animals. I know some, maybe, like for me personally, I don't so much like some insects like wasps or like some creepy crawlies. Those are not exactly my strong suit, but I'm sure eventually I'll get over that and maybe talk about some interesting facts on the podcast eventually. But for now, I'm going to be sticking for the vast majority of the podcast to things that I very much enjoy and find interesting and relaxing. So that's gonna be the giant panda for today. So let's get right into it. So the first fact I have here is that approximately 99% of a panda's diet is bamboo leaves and shoots, which that's the staple. I'm sure if you've seen maybe some videos online or things that you've heard about the panda, is that they love bamboo. It's they always are eating no matter what. But the thing is that bamboo leaves are not very nutritious in terms of nutritional value. They don't have very much, which explains why they eat so much of it. It's actually a carnivore adapted animal in terms of its digestive system. Even its teeth actually are carnivorous, but these animals prefer, or rather chose, to be vegetarian. And we'll get into a little bit of that in a second, into why this, why their anatomy or physiology is primed for something, but the animal decides to go a different way with it. But because it has this kind of carnivore adapted digestive system, it can't actually digest the cellulose very well, and cellulose is one of those prime molecules that are in kind of plant material, and that is why you see pandas kind of living that sedentary, that low energy sort of life, in which they have to eat all the time in order to feel that fullness, right? And this sedentary lifestyle it allows them to eat some 60 species of bamboo, and they can eat upwards of 26 to 84 pounds of bamboo daily just to stay full. 84 pounds, so at that max, 84 pounds, that is about half of my weight. So, if you were to stack up all those bamboo shoots, they would weigh 84 pounds. That is an impressive number right there. Yeah, that's about half my weight, and I'm about 5'11", so that is a incredible number, especially because this is plant material, right? This isn't a big hunk of meat or an animal. This is just bamboo shoots and leaves. So they can eat upwards of 12 hours a day, which is something. So I don't know if I specified that they eat 26 to 84 pounds of bamboo daily just to stay full. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. I just wanted to make sure. And they eat for approximately 12 hours a day. So the vast majority of their day is spent eating, which is a lifestyle that I think that all of us kind of dream to have sometimes, right? You can just eat the whole day. I personally love food, from all around the world. So panda might be a good thing if I maybe in another life be a panda. I'm just going to really quickly take a drink of my tea here because I'm a little thirsty. So a panda's paw has 6 digits, so it has 5 fingers, and it has an opposable, what they refer to as a pseudo thumb. So that's pseudo thumb. It's actually an enlarged wrist bone, and the only function that it serves for this animal is to hold the bamboo while it's eating. So it has a specialty bamboo holding kind of anatomy there, and I think that's amazing. We humans have opposable thumbs, but it's not merely to hold bamboo while we eat, and it's not a pseudo thumb. So it has a thumb. It's just used primarily for eating bamboo, is what it seems like, and I think that's very cute. An adult giant panda weighs more than 100 pounds and can be about 5 feet tall. So they're fairly large animals, but in comparison, these are panda bears at the end of the day, and bears, there's grizzly bears and black bears. When they stand on their hind legs, they are definitely taller than 5 feet. They're very, very large. So a giant panda, is significantly smaller than some of those other kind of panda brethren, you can say. 5 feet tall and 100 pounds, but still, for climbing and stuff, it's still impressive. And that brings me that they are good at climbing trees and swimming. Although you don't really see pandas swimming all that often because of the fact that they don't actually need to, or want to rather, fish and whatnot, because you'll see grizzly bears, right? You'll see grizzly bears always going into the kind of the rivers and getting fish, but pandas will not do that if they do not, unless they don't have a choice. So they can swim, it's just that they would much rather not, because this is a lot of energy being spent on a task that can be, why swim and spend all this energy when you can just sit and eat a piece of eat 80 pounds of bamboo. So that's the trade-off that they take there. When pandas are born, they go from pink to white to black. So they kind of go through this gradient as they go. Well, it's not really a gradient. It's more that when they're born, they're pink, they're furless, and they're also blind. So a lot of animals when they're born are blind. And after about 3 weeks, that's where you start to see that black and white color, that traditional kind of panda look that we're all used to. And of course, there's always exceptions, or most of the time there's exceptions to the rule. There are also rare brown pandas. So brown pandas exist, but they are incredibly rare. And also, seeing as that their population is not at the highest, we'll get into that in just a second. But these are rare phenomena that don't happen very often. But just like with albino gorillas, or different, sometimes an animal, there'll be a rare white tiger or something like that, right? So nature sometimes has these little special gifts with animals. Of all the members of the bear family, the only tail longer than the pandas is the sloth bear. And a sloth bear is something that I would also like to cover in another episode. In terms of the bear family, there are many species, and all of them have their unique quality and characteristics, like with black bears or grizzly bears or polar bears. And polar bears are something that I very much love and think are majestic animals. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys like and respect the polar bears. They're having not too good of a time right now, but they're amazing creatures. But all these bears, even though they're bears, they have these very these very large distinctions between one another. Like, for example, black bears and grizzly bears. One of them is better at climbing, or climbs faster. One of them is faster on the ground. How you intimidate a black bear? Like, would you intimidate a black bear? Would you intimidate a grizzly bear? How would that work? Would they respond the same way? And the answer is no. At least what research has said. Like, if you were to try to make yourself big in front of a black bear, that might be easier and have a higher success rate than if you were to try to do that with a grizzly bear. In that sense, animals usually have a much better chance playing dead to that degree, instead of trying to kind of, present a challenge to grizzly bears. And with polar bears, they live a totally different lifestyle, but still very interesting. If you've ever seen a documentary, I've seen some documentaries of polar bears, and I would, on some future episodes, I would love to cover polar bears and grizzly bears and black bears. But let's move on to our star of the show, which is panda bear. So a newborn panda cub is approximately 1/900th of the size of its mother. And you can just kind of get that into your head for a second. 1/900th, that is not a very, that is a very, very small ratio there. Or a large ratio, I guess, depending on how you look at it. But when it's born, it's actually very similar to the size of a stick of butter, which is very, very small. When you look at, 100-pound, 5-foot panda bear, these are very large animals, but when they're born, they're very small, incredibly small. A stick of butter, I had butter this morning, and I'm trying to think back. Yeah, wow, if a baby panda is that small, that's very cute. And as we stated before, pandas have those carnivorous teeth and that carnivorous digestive system, but they decided to eat vegetarian in the past because these bears aren't actually as fast as they need to be, but more of the reason is that it's the energy for them that's the issue. They prefer that more of a sedentary lifestyle, and to be carnivorous, you need to really have fast reflexes, or you need to be able to run fast. Things for these large animals, because they can be spotted from far away. So if they're trying to catch rodents, or they're trying to catch, other really small and quick creatures, they need to be quick on their feet. And while they do, or they will, eat rodents and other kind of, and fish if they have to, they prefer not to, because their chance of success is very low. They're kind of really depending on the prey being trapped in some sense, or getting stuck somewhere, or just being extremely slow in order for them to get the prey. So they chose to eat vegetarian. I'm maybe in the future they're going to choose to go keto or keto or ketogenic, or be pescatarian. Maybe they'll try all of the diets. It's just a joke. I don't think that they would do very well with the ketogenic diet. I don't know. I've never seen a panda eat an avocado before, but I don't imagine them liking it very much. But they do they like fruits, and avocados, I think, are they they're fruits, right? They have a seed. I believe avocados are fruits. Okay, let's move on. Or a berry, rather. Okay, that's a whole different conversation. Prehistoric pandas lived up to 2 million years ago, so their lineage tracks back super, super far. I mean, not super far. There's plenty of animals that go way back in terms of history, but yeah, prehistoric pandas lived up to 2 million years ago. That's just a quick little fact for you. A kind of odd fact, and one that's been observed in captivity, is that pandas are said to have a liking to the taste of copper and iron. So they really seem to enjoy licking every scrap of food from their metal bowls, and they will even turn the bowl, in their paws there. And an ancient reputation as a licker and eater of copper and iron came from a liking for dishes and cooking pots when they were in the presence of some Chinese inhabitants there. So they were seen to kind of enjoy that metallic taste, and that's interesting. I mean, me personally, I don't like drinking from metal bottles. I don't like that metallic-y taste, and kind of a quote from The Office, one of my favorite shows. It's like drinking a battery. I don't like it very much, but I like pandas. I gotta respect. Maybe I ought to try it out. Maybe there's something to this. I'm not appreciating. So as you know, or you might not know, giant pandas are native to China. So these are from they have Chinese lineage there. But the populations of pandas are actually in the vulnerable category. So they say that fewer than 1,900 individuals or bears live in the wild. And there's about 300 in zoos around the world. So if you add those up, you have about 2,200 or 2,200 pandas left in the world. And that is not a lot. Here where I'm from, we have a zoo here, and pandas have been there for just a few months. So everyone wanted to rush and see the pandas because it's kind of a rare opportunity to be able to see pandas, especially here in North America, right? We're not in China. So, if panda bears ever come around your area, maybe you're in the United States or Canada or whatnot, you can make the effort to go and see, because these are very, very special animals and unique, and you don't know the next time you're going to be able to see them because they're in that vulnerable condition. And this information is from National Geographic, that in the summer, giant pandas will climb 13,000 feet up the mountains of their home area in order to feed. So although these animals are said to be very sedentary, and they are for the most part, if they know that there's kind of some fresh bamboo, where it is, they'll make the effort to just kind of sit in the middle of a big bamboo thicket and just chow down, right? And that's determination for the panda. So as we've said before, if there's no bamboo around to sustain these giant panda bears, they will sometimes supplement their diet with rodent fish, insects or birds. I believe at one zoo there was even a panda said to be seen, or they got a picture of eating a vulture, which is, I don't know how that happened. I don't know what the story is there. I guess the vulture just didn't go fast enough, because pandas aren't too quick, or would rather not be too quick. So I don't know how that happened, but I think that's cool. So that if they have that carnivorous, they have carnivorous characteristics like their digestive system and their teeth in their mouth. So if they have to, or whatnot, they will. And I think there's an interesting fact here, because for the next one, it's pandas dislike being around other pandas. And you'll see in a lot of animals that they prefer to be in groups, whether it be large groups or smaller groups. Being in groups usually enhances their chances of survival. But you'll see these mostly in hunting packs, in animals that really depend on each other in order to bring larger game down. But with pandas, because they live this lifestyle of just eating bamboo, sitting down, they don't actually prefer to be around each other. And they actually have developed a higher sense of smell, which actually lets them know when there's another panda nearby, so they can avoid running into them. And I think that would be a cool skill to have in real life, where you have this higher sense of smell or sense that someone you don't really want to talk to is just around the corner, so you can do what you can to avoid running into them or whatnot. I think that would be a funny kind of skill to have. I smelt you coming around the corner. And if they do, if their heightened sense of smell doesn't allow them to, or for whatever reason they run into each other, they will growl. Try to imagine a panda growling. These look like very sweet and gentle animals, but I'm sure a panda growling will still be something to be taken seriously. They will swat at each other and bite each other until one of them just plainly gives up. And when one of them gives up, they leave, and the panda who I guess won the exchange, or I don't know if there's a winner or if there's just one panda who just straight gives up, but that panda will have to go elsewhere to find some of that delicious cellulose or the bamboo. And throughout the animal world, you'll see a lot of different animals have this way of marking their territory. So whether it be for just to be like a dominant male or whatnot in the group to mark your territory, giant pandas secrete this kind of waxy scent marker from a scent gland that they have that's underneath their tail to mark their territory. And other giant pandas can actually, from just the scent, they have the heightened sense of smell as we just talked about, and they're able to tell the sex, the age, the reproductive condition, and even social status from smelling it. Well, that's what researchers believe they're able to smell. And before we move on, I'm just going to take a quick swig of my tea here. My mouth's getting a little dry there. Oh man, that is delicious. It's about 10 a.m. over here. So I already went on kind of like a long walk. It's a beautiful weather. It's just on the edge of fall here, so it's kind of on the chillier side. So a nice hot cup of tea is always goes well with me. So of all the bear species out there, pandas are said by researchers to be the most vocal. So these are vocal animals. To say hello, they make a sound that they compare it that's close to a small goat or lamb, the kind of sound that they would make, which I would think is incredibly cute. I have to YouTube that for sure. I'd like to hear what that sounds like. And giant pandas, most importantly to me, are known to be incredibly curious and playful. If you've seen, I'm sure you've seen videos that they somersault and they just somersault along the ground. They would just like kind of roll forwards and have fun rolling down a hill. Very cute stuff. They'll play with toys. They'll do puzzles. Those are kind of some of their favorite things to do. And I'm sure, I'm not sure how happy pandas are in captivity, because captivity is always something that differs for every animal. But the general consensus is that being in captivity, it's more of a linear curve downwards to what I would think. The more you're in captivity, or when you're in captivity, their general enjoyment is lessened because they're not in their natural habitat. But with pandas, they seem to be a little bit more comfortable no matter where they are, because even in the wild, I guess they like to be more sedentary. At least that's just my personal observation that I've seen, that they just like to somersault around and play with toys and puzzles, and they get some enjoyment from having these things and just rolling around in the grass. So if you haven't seen it before, I very much recommend you searching up on YouTube pandas playing, or giant pandas playing, because it's you could put on panda videos for hours for sure. And just gonna take one last swig of my tea here before we go into the ending fact. And what we like to generally end the show on is kind of either an origin story of the name of the animal, maybe a cool fact about it, what it means in Latin, whatever, things like that. So let me just take one last swig here. If you'd like to know what kind of tea I'm drinking, it's a lemon balm tea. I very much enjoy the taste. It's really good. Okay, so the origin of the name panda is the Nepalese word. I most likely will butcher this, but try to stay with me here. Negalia paunia, or panya. And that is translated to eater of bamboo. Very appropriate, I think, that you would imagine. But it was applied to the red panda mostly. So they always believed the giant panda and the red panda to be related in some sense. but I think it was 1901 or something, or 1801. I don't remember what the exact date was, but when they finally discovered that the giant panda and the red panda were indeed related. And the giant panda was known to be the mottled bear, or the partly colored bear, also a very appropriate name, until they found that relation to the red panda. And now in Chinese, the giant panda is referred to in their language as the large bear cat. And I could definitely see where they kind of, came up with that, because they do look like just large bear cats. I mean, very cute. So that's the last fact of the show. I very much hope you enjoyed, you were entertained. Maybe you're asleep, maybe you're just kind of relaxing now, but we're nearing the end of the podcast here. So I always wonder if there's something that we can take from these animals. I mean, we learned today, but sometimes there's something that animals do that is something that we can apply to our own life in some sense. Maybe for me it'll be that maybe I got to do more puzzles, or maybe I need to somersault in the grass a little more. Learn to be a little bit more curious and playful, like giant pandas are, because they seem to really enjoy themselves. So I guess I'll be somersaulting in between podcast episodes. But I very much hope you enjoyed. Thank you for tuning in and spending this time with me and taking the time to learn more about animals all over the world, because now more than ever I think it's super important to be informed about animals around the world, and about things you can do to kind of help share the planet a little bit with these beautiful animals. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, you can do what you like. You can share. You can follow the podcast. This is mainly on Spotify right now. If you know somebody else that would like to relax with animal facts, you can share this episode for sure. Follow it, do what you will. If you have any kind of any tips, any concerns, anything like that, you can shoot me an email at relaxwithanimalfacts@gmail.com. Because I just started the show, I always like to see kind of feedback, what you guys like. Maybe you want more of something, maybe you want kind of another kind of section to the podcast, and that's what I love to hear, is always some constructive feedback. So you can shoot me an email. Again, that's relaxwithanimalfacts@gmail.com. If you have any kind of submissions, any kind of any kind of theme song, anything like that, because I'm going to be looking for that kind of over the next few months as I'm beginning this podcast. So again, thank you very much for everything. If you send me some feedback, thank you very much. And just enjoy the rest of your day or your night. And I'll see you guys next time.